think we're good. I don't see a screen. Hopefully, if you have questions, I can figure out where they're landing. Um, but I'm just going to jump right in. I wanted to share a project with you. This is really not why I went live today. I went live because I tested some of the old resin that I did a resin user a beginner resin tip the other day, and it was resin that had started yellowing, and a viewer had asked me what it was like if it starts to yellow, can you still use it? So I tested that. That's what we're going to talk about the bulk of the time. But I really wanted to show you this first since it was ready. I got these the other day in my mail, if you saw me open my mail, and these are charms for straws. So I poured resin in them, and I want to show you these. They're super cute. Hold on. I want to like show you these components, right? So there is the poured flour, and I thought originally when I bought this that it was going to attach to the straw like that, right? And it would just snap on there. Not so. That's why there's two of each one. You actually, here's the other one, and this was poured also with the bad resin. Came out good. You actually will take two pieces of a straw charm, and we're gonna glue these together, and then they're gonna slide onto the straw like this, right? So you're gonna have a charm that slides like that. Anyway, I'll assemble them for you, but I was so excited when I realized how these little molds work. They came like this. There's two of a kind, and then you match them or do opposites or whatever. And then I got this glue I usually use this on smaller pieces, but we're gonna glue these two pieces together, and then I'll show you a couple different of the charms completed. But I thought it was such a cute mold that before I jumped into the topic, this is a good segue into the topic about bad resin. So here we go. So the other day, as I mentioned, I put out a small tip that said, watch your resin for oxidation. So you see here that the hardener, the B hardener, is slightly yellow, and the epoxy resin is clear. It actually even has a little tint of blue, which is fine, which actually is what it's supposed to look like. But this hardener is starting to yellow. That means it's oxidizing. It either was exposed to UV light or it froze. Maybe it froze in shipping. This wasn't that old of resin when I cracked it open the other day. It was about, I don't know, 6 months old, 4 months old, something like that. I got it before Christmas, and I was using it for Christmas gifts. So when I posted that tip, it wasn't a comment that was posted on the video, but I got into a conversation about this with another crafter, and they said, really, what does this do to a project, and can I use it at all? Because you hate to throw away this much resin. So I tested a couple things. I put mica color in the resin just to see how it would behave, and then I also did a couple of molds that were clear. So I'm gonna show you a few examples of using that oxidized resin and how it came out. So for the first one, I actually did use the oxidized resin for the straw charm, and I put mica powder in there, which really gave it a full rich color. And when I mix these two resin pieces together, like you would do normally just to do the project, stirring them together, it actually diluted this resin, and the yellow disappeared for the most part. So I wasn't expecting even the clear ones to be particularly foggy, but again, oxidized resin can also make it not harden well, and create a couple other problems. So I wanted to make sure, I wanted to really see how this worked. So I did mica powder, and I did it with those. These are super hard, not bending or flexible at all. There don't appear to be any big issues with it, except for that I can't hold anything. And it came out very nice. So I would have to say, and I'm going to do one more that has mica. This one only has, these are the only ones I did that have mica powder. So if you're using somewhat odd colored resin and you use mica powder, because it's opaque, it does appear you can get rid of the color. And if it's not too oxidized, then it does appear that you can use that fine for a mica project. I also want to mention that this yellowing, it can be various shades of yellow. You can't tell it's yellow unless the other one's next to it. It can be various shades of yellow too. So if this is getting all the way to like a dark amber coffee color, then it's really, really bad, and I would hesitate to use it. And even if I practiced with it, definitely wouldn't give it for a gift, because I don't know how it would stand up. But for this light color, which only seems to have been impacted for maybe a few months to weeks, adding a mica color seems to make it perfectly fine. The other thing I did was I used the same resin, and I added a color drop. So I did color drops, and that also, as you can see, I made these little keychains with them. That also eliminated. Let me see if I can put it on something. It also eliminated any possibility of seeing color through it. So this I used like an aqua color, and I filled it with seashells because I was going to put a name on it and send it to somebody I know who lives at the shore. That also didn't really impact it very much. I will say it's extremely hard, and it didn't create any other foreseeable problems. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of bubbling in it, and I did a lot of work to get the bubbles out, but that was probably just a me thing, a user error, not necessarily a problem with the resin. But I also want to say that I got these new molds that have a lip around the edge of the mold, and it's creating this fantastic, beautifully soft edge. So I'm loving these molds. I'm going to post the link to these molds on my webpage when I do a full blog on this. But boy, these are fantastic and super soft on the bottom. Yeah, they're really, really nice. Hi, Michael. Yeah, these are great. So I'm loving that one. So far, the mica powder isn't impacted by the discoloring in the resin. The color drops aren't impacted by the coloring in the resin, either in color or in curing. So that's terrific. I did another one, so you can see this here. I did another one with no coloring, clear resin, and just glitter. Ooh, I love how the edges of these are coming out. This is actually like really fantastic. I love it. Okay, so these are super smooth. You'll see the glitter looks terrific. There's no bubbles. It's really hard. I don't have any flexibility in it, so it cured just fine. And I took the same mix, and oh, thank you, Michael. Sent me 20 stars. I appreciate that. And then this is really, really quality. Like, I am excited to put somebody's name on there and use the jewelry that's going to make that a charm. That looks beautiful. The other thing I wanted to mention here is I used no color. I used the clear resin. But when you put this much glitter in resin, you have two options. You can put your resin in and pour it in the mold. Oftentimes, you'll end up with a front side and a back side of a project when you do that. Or you can let the glitter sit in the mold for about 20 minutes. And then when the glitter stops sinking to the bottom, you can then put it in there, and your glitter will be more floating equally throughout the resin. So that's just a little, I'll make a tip for that too, just so you don't forget. But letting your resin sit for a little while after you've put glitter in it will help the project, help it stay suspended in the project. So no color, just glitter, looks fantastic, no big issues, right? So that looks good. I don't know if I have any questions. I'm just checking you out here. Then I have a couple more now that I use just clear glitter. So you'll recall these two have a little bit of a tint, so I was a little concerned it wasn't going to come out that good. So here's one, and what I did with this one is I used clear glitter, and I put flowers in it, and I actually put hydrangea flowers in there because I have a friend who might love hydrangeas, and I mail all of my stuff. When I make samples on my site and when I'm doing these lives, I have so many things left over. I mail them out. So if you ever see something that I'm demoing and you want it, and you're the first one to reach out to me, I will mail it to you. Not a problem. Okay, so here's the clear that I used with the resin that was tinted. And honestly, it's it's pretty good. The only hang up I have with this one is that the hydrangea flowers that I put in there were purple. So it's definitely masking the color of the dried flowers that I put in there. And they were dried. They were, purely dried. You have to make sure your flowers are dried, or when you put a flower in resin and they're not fully dried, they'll bubble. All the air comes out of the leaves, and they will like massively fill your project with bubbles. But these were dry because I bought them dry. But the clear is okay. I'm a little concerned about the color and the detail that's inside there, but I haven't decided if that's based on the surface or the resin, but it is definitely a little skewed from what I intended the color of this project to be. So that's my comment there, is that using it clear, that oxidized resin, using it clear, maybe a little hesitant because of the color of the thing. But again, I love the edges of these charms or keychains. I say charms because like something like this, I might hang this off my luggage because I love it, and then you can find your luggage easy in a luggage carrier. The other thing is a little flaw here. One of the leaves is kind of poking up a little bit in the back of the resin. You can see that, but that was a me thing. So you got clear. I have another clear. The other thing I did here, I did another clear that I'm about to pop off for you to see. My camera's here. I did half glitter and then half clear. Hold on, I can't even see it. And love it. I don't know. I love it a lot. There's a really big bubble on the back. And honestly, I'm going to fill that bubble based on when I did my pen test. I don't know if you can see it right there. I'm just going to put a big rhinestone right in that bubble. And then I'm going to put somebody's name down the blank side here of the star. This looks fantastic. I just love the texture. I love how it feels. It looks like ice. I'm not having any color issues with it. I say that, and then I dropped it. It does look a little tinted to me. Oh, sorry. It does look a little tinted. But guess what? I'm going to, obviously, since I just dropped it 5 times, I'm going to lose it before it really, anything happens to it. So that came out great. And then I used some more clear, and I filled it with shapes, not actual, glitter sparkle, but I used it with actual cutouts. So let's see how this comes out. Again, great soft edges. It's hardened. I love the roundedness, and it's hardened, hard as can be, no issues. Maybe slightly tinted. I put so much stuff in them that even if it's tinted, I mean, you're really not going to notice. And these are small things. I would hesitate to make a larger project with that resin, but these little ones, honestly, are coming out great. I love them. All right, I have a couple more. This one, I put more shapes in. Actually, I want to step back for a second and tell you one thing. These shapes actually will run. I put them in snow globe tumblers, and the color from these actually ran in the snow globe solution. So you have to be careful the glitter you use. But in resin, they're not going to run, and they're going to stay fine. So I put them in there, and I jammed this one full of shapes. Hold on. I jammed this one full of shapes, but I will tell you, look how many there are. When you go to put shapes like this and glitter and resin, you really want to keep it at a 10 to 15% of the solution should be additive. So anything that you add on into your resin, you shouldn't really exceed that 10 to 15%. But I just jammed this full because I was just testing it. And again, this came out really nice. I can see all of the pieces through it. Even if it was discolored, which it may be just a hair. I put so much in there, you're not going to, the common eyeball is not going to know the difference. So that's fairly good. No, actually that's excellent. I really like those shapes in there. One more where I did those same shapes, but I decreased the amount because I wasn't sure how this one was going to work. So I decreased the amount of shapes in there just to see if I was testing like more additive versus less additive. And so this one came out also adorable, but you can see through it more because, like I said, I put less additive. I went down to that 10% of the volume in additive, and it came out pretty good. I really don't see yellow in that either. It's hard because the monitor is between us. So I'm getting a lot of light through these, and it's making it look fine. And then I have one more, and then this one is I don't know if you recall my reel that had resin sprinkles. Well, I decided to put one in there because I thought, oh, this would be a cute tag for a birthday present where I put somebody's name and it's a keychain, and when they unwrap their present, they can keep the tag as a keychain. So I use these sprinkles, and also because they're much more specific in the space than glitter, and I'd be able to see through more of the clear. And I think they look terrific. And I don't see any color. You can see me right through it, right? So I don't think I see any yellow in that. But also, I love the sprinkles. I mean, I love sprinkles anyway, but that came out great. So that's a great birthday gift. When I get these on hardware, I'll share the picture so everybody can see them on hardware and see what they look like. One more thing before I put this mold away and wrap up our conversation. This mold had the tiniest little spots to put resin. I don't know why. I think because they want you to make little tiny pieces and add them on top of the other pieces you already made. So I filled a couple just so you could see them. They're so tiny. Look at this tiny star. I mean, it's minuscule. Hold on. Look. It's a little star. It's so, these are so, I say keep small molds around your workspace. This is ridiculous. But honestly, here's like if I was going to, I could use resin, UV resin, and attach smaller stars. I mean, you know I'm going to drop it. Attach smaller stars to the bigger star. It would just be super cute. But this is like resin confetti. They're so small. Here, wait, look at that again. Look, it's so tiny. It's smaller than jewelry, honestly. Those earrings I make are small, but this is probably a drop. And those earrings are like 2 or 3 drops a piece. These are a drop. I did 2 drops in that one. Look, I'm way over the side. I'm outside of the circle and everything. Like, I don't even know what this is gonna look. This is just gonna be like a giant blob with a heart in it. They're the cutest stinking things. This one is blue from the other one. Oh my gosh, look, it's like a speck. Actually, that looks like a stone for a piece of jewelry. All right, well, these are all getting saved, but look at that one. That looks fantastic. I'm loving that. All right, I got to make more of those. I didn't know it was going to look that good. All right, and then a couple more little ones. What's this one? Here's a little round one. Actually looks very emeraldy. Oh, I'm liking those. They're just so small. They're insanely small. Oh, I dropped one. All right, 2 more. Let's see what this one is. Also round. It's the one I dropped, so now I got it back. And then this one, I put 2 drops, obviously, and it kind of like bulged out. There you go. Honest, this is really cute. Love this mold with these keychains because the edges are so smooth and they're so unique shapes. And the hardware is really pretty too. It's behind me, and my mom told me not to turn around, so I want to make sure that I'll get the hardware on there, and you'll get to see those. And then these straws, we'll put those together, and you'll get to see those too. Couple of things I just want to remind you that I have a tutorial out this week. It was a sublimation resin duck lid project. That's out on YouTube. You can get to it from this page. And then next week, I'm doing a sublimated mug with infusible ink. So if you don't have a sublimation printer and you can't customize and do certain things, you'll at least be able to work with Thank you, Pat, for the stars you just sent over. Sorry, I heard a ding. You'll definitely be able to do a sublimated mug with infusible ink if you have a Cricut mug press and haven't really known what to do with it yet. So that's coming out next Friday at 12 o'clock, I think. And you'll see some demos this week popping up of the mugs that I'm going to sample. If anybody has any questions, you can just pop them in this chat here in the video, even if the video you're watching it on recording, I still get the questions and can still answer them. And I'll let you all go to go see that. What is it? The World Baseball game is tonight. Well, so are the Oscars too. So, well, have a great night and thanks for watching. See you soon.